Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Are you looking for a premium high-end case to show off your gorgeous high-end computer build? You might want to consider the CoolerMaster MasterCase Maker 5T. This is a premium high-end mid-tower case with all the features. 2 tempered glass side panels, one on each side of the computer. An included red LED light strip with light control buttons on the front of the case and fan control buttons on the front of the case. This is part of their free-form modular system, very customizable, very expandable. Now, this is a premium high-end case, $250. It is not necessary to spend $250 if your entire goal with a computer case is to take all your parts, shove them in a box, take your box, put it under the desk, and never look at it again for the next 3 years. If that's your goal, this is overkill. But do you want to put your case on top of your desk? Do you want people to be walking by your desk and stop and go, "Whoa, what is that?" and they lean over a bit to see inside? Do you want one of the new RGB boards with RGB RAM and RGB cooling and RGB lights and RGB light strips? Do you want a Christmas show on your desktop? Then you've come to the right place. Because for about $100 more than the non-T version of this case, and please note, for $150, you can get the MasterCase Maker 5 without the T, minus the 2 tempered glass side panels, minus the handle on the top, and a couple of other minor features. Largely the same case from the same line with the same freeform modular system for $100 less. It's $150. I will link to that in the video description below. So if you don't care about RGB as much, you don't want the tempered glass, and you really do plan to just shove your computer under your desk, take a look at the non-T version of the MasterCase Maker 5 instead of the T version. This is for putting on your desk. This is for making people go, "Whoa, that's awesome." If that's what you're looking for, this is your case. Or at least it should be on your short list of high-end tempered glass RGB intended cases. All right, that's enough talking. Let's get it out of the box, shall we? Boy, that is a lot smaller than the box it comes in, but I'm glad to say that it's well protected because UPS managed to put several large dings in the box on the way getting to me, but it appears to be in very good shape. Shall we? Wow, that's nice. Take a look at that. Some people may think that tempered glass is a gimmicky feature. They may say, "Oh, what's the big deal? Side panels have been in cases for years, so it's glass, big deal." Standing here, this is the first time I've looked at it. I just took it out of the box. I have not seen this yet. That's sharp. I own many cases with side panels. I've never owned one with tempered glass. That's sharp. It's glass. All the other side panels I own are plastic, and they always are wavy a bit, and they're very thin, and they're very cheap, and they don't show through very well because they're cheap plastic. That's sharp. That looks very nice. No exaggeration, no hyperbole there. I didn't know what to expect. I've never had a case in front of me with tempered glass. I can see why some people rave about it. It looks rich. It looks expensive. It is expensive. It's $250. But if you're going for a premium experience, yeah, I'll admit I pulled it out and I pulled it off and I looked at it. My first reaction was nice. If I wanted a computer for the top of my desk, that would be on my short list. Very cool. Why don't we get the plastic and covering off? I'll open it up and we'll take a look at it. All right, and we're back. So I had a couple of minutes to play around with it, took the panels off, took a look at it. This is in fact my very first look at this case. I put it on film so I can be wowed with it right along with you. A couple of my initial thoughts. If you're looking for a case with wow factor, if you want a case that pops on your desk, that is impressive, that just says, look at me, I'm powerful, this does it. I genuinely like the look of this in terms of a beauty case. If you want something with sharp angles and lines, the two-tone color, the red and the accents, the handle up top, the piano black finish on the faceplate here, I'll show you in a minute. This front cover is, by the way, removable, so you can have it flat to access your DVD drive if you want. There is a filter right here. Acoustic foam to keep the noise down here. Otherwise, this slides right back into place. Yes, I'll show you that closer during the build. That looks sharp. These are locking, so you can lock the glass panels if you need to. That's mostly a cosmetic concept. It's not going to keep anybody out. It's made of glass. But look at the frosted color. If you put an RGB motherboard in there, if you put RGB RAM, the new Trident RGB RAM from G-Skill in there, if you put in AMD's new Wraith Spire LED cooler or one of the other LED cooler options, boy, you could have a Christmas light show in this thing. There are multiple ports to add in additional LED light strips. There is one strip that comes in the bottom. You can buy more as well. You could have, seriously, an amazing Christmas light show on your desk. Now, I am going to turn this. In fact, there is one downside. Glass is heavy. And so, I mentioned LAN parties before. Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to carry that to a LAN party. That really should stay in one place. You could. It does actually have a very secure handle on top. Given the height of the desk, I need to reinforce it to pick it up. If I was just carrying it like luggage, it would be fine. This is very secure, and I like cases. Cases should have handles, but it's not light. And when you put a power supply, a motherboard, RAM, a liquid cooler, or a big air cooler in here, it's going to be a pretty heavy machine, so you probably aren't going to want to move it more than you have to. As I said before, the MasterCase Maker 5 non-T is $100 less, and it does not have the two tempered side glass panels. That case is going to weigh a lot less, but it still has the freeform modular system, so if you don't care about the glass or RGB, save $100, get that. As I said before, I'll link to that in the description below. Go check that out as another option. This looks sharp. This is one of the nicest, and I've got some nice high-end cases. I've got Corsair's Obsidian series. I've got a Thermaltake full tower case that's really sharp with metal doors on the front. This is probably the nicest looking case I've ever had. And I mean that in all straightforwardness. I will say that glass is going to catch fingerprints. They provide one of those little microcloth towels for you to wipe down the fingerprints from the glass, which is a nice touch. Couple of other things. This is the nicest screw organization system I've ever seen in a case. Labeled for all the screws and what they're used for. Every case comes with a box or a bag of screws, and then you got to figure out what they're for. These are labeled. I don't think I've ever seen that before in a case. That's nice. It includes several very nice ties for cable management. And you haven't seen, well, I mentioned I would show it to you. Here, let me take this off so you can see. There we go. Acoustic panel here. You can operate it looking like that if you want to leave this off, if you want access to your DVD drive. I don't use DVD drives. I'm not even going to put a DVD drive in here. I haven't used them in forever. But I do want to show you. All right, it is hard to take that off and put it on when you're standing behind the case. You wouldn't normally be doing that. You'd be on the other side of it. I've turned the case to its side. This is the back, not the front. The cable management back here is good. One concern that I had before I opened this up was, how is it going to look with glass on the back of a computer case? Usually when I build computers, well, I usually don't even care how they look either way because I put them under the desk. But the back is where you shove all the cables and don't worry about how it looks. You just worry about cable management on the front. But with tempered glass on the back, you have to think about how your case is going to look. Take a look at this. It's painted inside on the back, and take a look at this vertical, am I pointing at it? Yes. This cable management strip right here to run all the cables. All of the front panel cables run down this and through a hole down there They're not going to be ugly and obtrusive. You can see that there are multiple punch throughs for cable management, and these are Velcro strips. So you just Velcro them open, adjust or add or subtract cables as you need them, Velcro them closed. Nice cable management. See this box right here? LED lighting control. There are 4 of the LED pins here that you can plug additional light strips into. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like one's already in use. Yep, that is for the included light strip that's in the front. I'll show you here in a minute. So this box is controlled by a button here on the front that lets you set breathing mode, always on mode, pulsing. You can set different modes for the lights. Again, the whole purpose of this case is for a Christmas RGB light show. Now, how much you put into it is entirely up to you. But if you want a stunning, beautiful case, yeah, it's $250. It is a premium price. It's very nice. Something I will say, in fact, I'll take this off and then I'll turn it around. It does come with the key to lock and unlock the side panels, and they come off just like that. These panels are where all the weight is. These are heavy. I don't know how you measure glass. I'm not a glass expert, but that's heavy. I'm just going to set this down. And with both glass panels off, that's no big deal now. All the weight's in the glass. So if you don't want a heavy case, get the non-T version with standard metal side panels and a plastic side window. If you want the tempered glass, spend the money and deal with the weight. That's nice. All right, let's turn this around, shall we? Right here in the front is the light strip right along the bottom. Now, as I mentioned before on the box, there's additional plugs. You can buy additional light strips. Make this as RGB as you want. As far as overall internal system management, I would like to point out right down here your hard drive trays. You don't have to use any space here where your graphics card would go. No blocking airflow, no making your system ugly with a bunch of drives. There are 2 bays down here for drives, and there are 2 spots here for solid-state drives right beneath the motherboard. Now, with the modern proliferation of M.2 solid-state drives, you may not need to put any drives in this system, and that's an interesting possibility. Most of the new Z270 boards or the new X370 boards with AMD's Ryzen, the AM4 boards, are going to have usually at least 2 M.2 slots on the motherboard. So even if you want to install one solid-state drive now and one in the future, you can put them all on the board. If you need hard drive space, fair enough. Put a big 4, 6, or 8 terabyte drive down there and you're set as far as storage goes. If you already have or want to use a 2.5-inch drive, there are 2 mounting plates right here, which are movable, by the way, but you can probably just leave them right there. And then you've got your 5.25-inch bays up here. And it looks like these may be removable. There are thumb screws there. Yep, I just picked it up, turned it around, and checked. There are thumb screws on either side here, and I do believe the entire 5.25-inch drive cage is removable. So if you're not going to put a 5.25-inch drive in, I would take that out and just free up the whole. In fact, I may do that during the build just to show how that works, because I'm not going to put a 5.25-inch bay in. This is sharp. It does come with a 140mm exhaust fan in the back, and it comes with 2. It looks like 140mm exhaust fans in the front. Now, here's the cool part. You can either have negative pressure by installing up top right here a 240 or 280mm liquid cooler on the roof blowing out. There is a panel here which opens up to allow the air out of the top. It looks nice either installed or not installed. I'll tip this over. This is installed, and that's not installed. Now, if you put a cooler up there, take this off and leave it off. It's a nice grill. It matches the rest of the system. It looks very, very nice. There are also in here, which you can't see from this angle, I'll take some close-up shots, but there are vents underneath the handle as well. So the whole top here is vented. It's not an inexpensive case. I will be absolutely the first to say that most people are probably not going to spend $250 on a computer case. Fair enough, there are less expensive options. I mentioned the Maker 5 non-T for $150. Even a lot of people aren't going to do that. The MasterCase Pro 5 has a little bit less options than this, and it's about $110. Or you can go all the way down to the MasterBox 5, which is $60, and it's what I did my i7 7700K build video in, and for $60, that's an incredible value for the money. It's missing some things. I'm actually going to move that machine to a better case because it doesn't have the vents on the top, which I really wish it had. This is nice. For those of you curious, and then your power supply goes right down here, sorry. For those of you curious, this is the case that my first AMD AM4 Ryzen build is going to be going into, and I am very much looking forward to it. This is going to be a sharp, sharp system. I've got a very nice MSI X370 motherboard with RGB lighting I'm going to be putting in. I'm trying to get some RGB lighting from G-Skill, and hopefully they'll send me some, and I will make a Christmas light show for you guys to see. I'm not going to show this completed in this video, but be sure to subscribe to my channel because when I do the build video for that machine, you're going to see this case all built up beautiful with a high-end motherboard and a high-end cooling system and a nice power supply. And this is going to be what I build that system in and do all of my AMD Ryzen tests in. Like this video if you like it, share it with your friends if you loved it. Remember to subscribe to my channel with the big huge red button directly below this video. Questions and comments in the comment section, and as always, check the links in the video description, Amazon and Newegg, for this case and the other ones that I mentioned. The non-T version of this, the MasterCase Pro 5, and the MasterBox 5 if you're looking for a budget but quality option at the $60 price point. Having used these, having looked at this, I'm going to be happy with this case. It exudes quality. I'm very excited. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video.